Students, on the basis of chemical formula, actually these salts, classification of salts are classified mainly into three types. So on what basis? On the basis of chemical formula, salts are classified into three types. So first one, normal salt. First one, that is normal salt. So what is this normal salt here? So on what basis we are classifying the salts here? On the basis of basing on the chemical formula, salts are classified into three types. So first one, normal salt. So it is the one which doesn't contain any ionizable hydrogen atom or hydroxyl group. So it is a salt which doesn't contain any hydrogen or hydroxyl group. Hydrogen means H plus, hydroxyl group means OH minus. Right? It is a salt which doesn't contain any hydrogen or hydroxyl group. So that point is important. That is normal salt. Normal salt doesn't contain any hydrogen H plus or hydroxyl group. So generally normal salt is formed by complete neutralization. Normal salt is formed by complete neutralization of an acid and a base. So you already know what is neutralization. Reaction. Acid reacts with bases to form salt and water, and these salts, normal salts, are formed by complete neutralization of acid and base. Examples: NaCl, KCl, NaNO3, K2SO4. If you observe these salts, you don't find any H plus and OH minus ions here, right? At the same time, how NaCl is formed, you already know. NaOH plus HCl gives rise to NaCl plus H2O. So in the same manner, how NaNO3 is formed? Acid reacts with base here, so NaNO3 plus H2O. So this is a simple salt. So this is a normal salt. Okay, basing on chemical formula I am telling this one. Next, second one, acidic salts. What are these acidic salts? When you call that salt as an acidic salt, so this acidic salt, it should contain replaceable hydrogen atoms. Acidic, compulsory, at least one replaceable hydrogen atom will be present in the salt. So how these acidic salts are formed? Due to incomplete neutralization of acid and base. So due to incomplete neutralization of acid and base, these acidic salts are formed. Example: NaHSO4, sodium bisulfate, sodium bicarbonate. This is sodium bisulfate. So this is called sodium bicarbonate. So these are examples of acidic salts. If you observe this salt, compulsory round of these hydrogens are there. So how this is formed? Incomplete neutralization. See, for example, sulfuric acid I am taking. I am using NaOH. So here I am getting NaHSO4 plus H2O. So here this is not completely neutralized. This sodium bisulfate is formed due to incomplete neutralization. At the same time, H2CO3 plus NaOH gives rise to NaHCO3 plus H2O. So here also H plus is there. So this is acidic salt. So it contains compulsory at least one replaceable hydrogen atom. So it contains some replaceable hydrogen atoms. So these acidic salts are mainly formed due to incomplete neutralization of acid and base, right? This is about acidic salt. Compulsory, you find at least one H plus ion in that salt. Next, coming to the point of third category, that is basic salt. So in the name, it contains some replaceable OH minus ions. Compulsory hydroxyl ions are present in that salt. So here also these salts are formed. These salts are formed due to incomplete neutralization. These salts are formed due to incomplete neutralization of acid and base. These salts are formed due to incomplete neutralization of acid and base. Example, basic lead nitrate. Example of basic salt. So if you observe this PbOHNO3, this is called basic lead nitrate. And one more thing, basic lead chloride. Basic lead chloride, formula PbOHCl. So this is about basic salt. So here this is the classification based on chemical formula. If you observe this formula, you are going to observe OH minus ions in this. So that's why this is considered as basic salt. So till now we have discussed classification of salts based on the chemical formula. Now one more classification. Classification of salts based on pH values. Classification of salts based on pH values. So first one, neutral salt solution. Neutral salts. How these neutral salts are formed? So these neutral salts are formed by they are nothing but they are salts of strong acids and strong bases. Salts of strong acid and strong base. Neutral salts are the salts of strong acid and strong bases. So for these neutral salts, pH value is always equal to 7. For these neutral salts, pH value is equal to 7. For example, you can take, see, generally these neutral salts, they don't change the color of litmus paper. They don't change the color of litmus paper. So 3 points you have to remember. What are these 3 points, students? Neutral salts are the salts of strong acids and strong base. When a strong acid is treated with strong base, neutral salt is formed. So here complete neutralization takes place. pH value will be always equal to 7 for these salts, and these salts don't change the color of the litmus paper. So examples for these neutral salts, you can take NaCl, KCl, NaNO3, Na2SO4. All these are examples of neutral salts. pH value, aqueous solutions of these salts can't change the color of the litmus paper. You know NaCl, how it is formed? Strong acid NaOH, strong acid HCl, strong base NaOH. So what you will get? NaCl plus H2O, complete neutralization. So in the same manner, you can take 2 moles H2SO4 plus H2SO4 plus 2 moles NaOH you take. So what you are going to get? Na2SO4 plus H2O. So here complete neutralization takes place. Complete 100% neutralization. Complete acid completely neutralizes base. So for all these salts, pH value is equal to 7. These aqueous solution of these salts can't turn the color of the litmus paper. So these neutral salts are considered salts of strong acids and strong bases. So that is important. Next, coming to the point of other salts, acidic salts. Other category, acidic salts. So these acidic salts, how can you define it? These are the salts of strong acids and weak bases. Strong acids and weak bases. When a strong acid is treated with a weak base, acidic salt is formed. So acidic salt, in the name itself, they are slightly acidic. pH value will be less than 7. For these salts, pH value will be less than 7. Aqueous solution of these salts turn blue litmus to red. Aqueous solution of these salts turn blue litmus to red. Salts of strong acids and weak base, pH value less than 7. Aqueous solution of these salts turn blue litmus to red. So example of these salts I am taking: ammonium sulfate, ammonium chloride you can take. So for example, let us define it. How ammonium chloride is formed? Ammonium hydroxide plus HCl. This ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. HCl is a strong acid. So when a weak base reacts with strong acid, what you are going to get? H4Cl plus H2O. In the same manner, ammonium sulfate, how it is formed? So you take ammonium hydroxide, 2 moles. Strong, here ammonium hydroxide already you know it is a weak base. It is a weak base, and sulfuric acid is a strong acid. Weak base versus strong acid. What you are going to get? NH for twice ammonium sulfate plus H2O. Ammonium sulfate plus H2O. So conclusion point: an acidic salt is mainly formed. This is a classification based on pH and combination. What combination? Strong acid and weak base. So these are about acidic salts. Now coming to the point of basic salts. Basic salts. So here basic salts means these are the salts of, these are considered as a formed, these salts are formed by the combination of strong base and weak acids. Strong base and weak acids. Basic salts are the salts formed due to the combination of strong base and weak acid. So generally they are basic in nature, they are alkaline in nature. pH value is greater than 7 for this aqueous solution of these salts, and aqueous solution of these salts turn red litmus to blue. Red litmus to blue. Aqueous solution of these salts turn red litmus to blue. So examples of these salts, if you take Na2CO3, K3PO4. So how this Na2CO3 is formed here? You take strong base, that is NaOH is a strong base. It reacts with weak acid. What is this acid called? H2CO3, carbonic acid. It's a, here NaOH is a strong base and it's a weak acid. Whenever a strong base is treated with a weak acid, here sodium carbonate plus water is formed. So sodium carbonate, how it is formed? Combination of strong base and weak acid. In the same manner, K3PO4, if you take 3 moles KOH plus weak, here KOH is a, potassium hydroxide is a strong base. It is treated with H3PO4. What is H3PO4? It is a weak acid. Phosphoric acid, it is a weak acid, H3PO4. So you are going to get K3PO4 plus some H2O. So this is a salt which is formed in this manner. So strong base and weak acid. So this is about the classification of salts. This is about the classification of salts, right? So now we are going to discuss about importance of certain compounds which we use in industries. So first one, common salt. So common salt is nothing but we call it as rock salt. Common salt is nothing but we call it as rock salt. How? What is the formula for rock salt? NaCl. So how it is formed, you know, students? Aqueous NaOH plus aqueous HCl, strong acid and strong base. So what you are going to get? NaCl aqueous plus H2O. It's a complete neutralization reaction. So NaCl is an example of neutral salt. NaCl is an example of neutral salt. So it occurs generally, this common salt occurs in seawater. It occurs in, main occurrence will be in seawater. So when it is in pure form, it is a white crystalline solid. When it is in pure form, it is a white crystalline solid. So in pure form, so it is pure form, okay. In pure form it exists as a white crystalline solid and it turns brown due to presence of impurities. It turns brown due to presence of impurities. So this is the point. So mainly seawater contains many dissolved salts in it, you know. Common salt is mainly obtained from seawater by the process. What process, students? Evaporation. By using this process we generally prepare common salt. So generally, you know, near seashore you can see seawater is trapped in large shallow pools and allowed to stand there. Generally you can see the pits near the big shallow pools, or here what happens, near the seashore, you know, they dug different pits and they keep what, that pit is totally filled with salt water. So that pits are allowed to evaporation technique. So sun's heat evaporates water slowly and common salt is left behind in the pits. This is the natural process of preparation of common salt. Generally near seashore, generally they dug many shallow pools and the total pool is filled with salt water and it is exposed to hot sun whenever the total water gets exposed and whatever the salts present in that those salts left behind in the shallow pools. So generally by using this evaporation technique we prepare this common salt. And also rock salt, common salt can also be prepared from, common salt is also prepared from underground deposits. Underground deposits. Common salt is also prepared from underground deposits. See, generally by using mining technique, by using this mining technique, rock salt is mined from the underground deposits just like coal. Rock salt is mined from the underground deposit just like coal. So by using these two techniques, generally we prepare rock salt in good yield. And you should know the importance of uses of NaCl. What are the important uses of NaCl? So generally this NaCl has got a lot of importance. So aqueous NaCl is called brine solution. What we call that solution? Brine solution. Aqueous NaCl solution. Aqueous NaCl solution is otherwise called as brine solution. So this brine solution is the main raw material used for the preparation of many chemicals. This brine, by using this brine solution we can prepare many chemicals like caustic soda. We can prepare many chemicals like caustic soda, means NaOH, and washing soda. So we can also prepare washing soda by using this aqueous brine solution. That is, washing soda means Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. This is called washing soda. And even baking soda can be prepared. Other chemical, baking soda, that is nothing but sodium hydrogen bicarbonate. So these are the, even you can prepare HCl, you can prepare hydrogen gas, you can prepare chlorine gas, you can prepare sodium metal. So all these byproducts are prepared by using brine solution. So brine solution is a major raw material in industries. So from this brine solution you can prepare caustic soda, washing soda, baking soda, HCl, hydrogen gas, chlorine gas, and sodium metal. So all these byproducts can be prepared from this common salt, and generally it is used in cooking food. So generally, you know, for cooking purpose we use for cooking food, and generally it improves the flavor of the food. It improves the flavor of the food. So generally it is required for our body for the working of, it's very essential for the body for working of nervous system. For working of nervous system is very, very essential. For working of nervous system, for movement of muscles, and for the production of HCl in stomach, for the production of HCl in the stomach, for digestion of food, These are all our uses as a cooking food, ingredient in cooking food, working of nervous system, movement of muscles, production of HCl in stomach for digestion of food, and used as a preservative. You know, preservative in pickles. Generally, you know, in your home mother will prepare pickles now. There the main rock salt they used as a preservative in pickles, and in curing meat and fish. So if you want to preserve them, that meat and fish is coated with a salt solution. And also used in the manufacture of soap. That is also important. Soap industries also they take this one. And used to melt ice. This point is important. Used to melt ice which collects on the roads during winter in cold countries. You know, in cold countries the total road is filled with ice. So what they do, in order to melt that ice, simply they throw sodium chloride salt on that ice, so that immediately melting of ice takes place. Generally in cold countries, you know, the total road is filled with ice. In order to melt that ice quickly, they throw rock salt on that ice, such that melting of ice takes place quickly in the presence of this rock salt. So that is the use of NaCl. So this is very important, students. So next we are discussing about sodium hydroxide. What is this sodium hydroxide? This is otherwise called as caustic soda. So it is a strong base, students. Why it is called as caustic soda? It has got one property, causticizing property. Causticizing property means here generally it eats the proteins of the skin. So it is a strong base. When it falls on the skin, what happens? It eats all the protein content present on the skin. That property we call it as causticizing property. So that's why it is named as caustic soda. So how this sodium chloride is prepared? What is the important raw material? Just we apply electrolysis of brine solution. So on electrolysis of brine solution, sodium hydroxide is prepared. So main raw material is sodium chloride solution. We call it as brine, aqueous sodium chloride solution. So this on electrolysis. So electrolysis means you have to pass electric current through aqueous sodium chloride solution. So immediately what you are going to get? Sodium hydroxide, aqueous sodium hydroxide plus byproducts chlorine gas and hydrogen gas are eliminated as byproducts. So the thing is, electrolysis of brine solution, during electrolysis of brine solution, here always remember that electrolysis means cathode and anode will be there. At cathode, always remember during the electrolysis of brine solution, which gas is released at cathode? So hydrogen gas is released at cathode. And even sodium hydroxide pellets are collected at cathode. Sodium hydroxide pellets are collected at cathode during electrolysis phenomena. So at anode, so which gas is collected at anode? Which gas is collected at anode here? Chlorine gas. Remember that during the electrolysis of brine solution, key points, hydrogen gas is liberated at cathode, chlorine gas is liberated at anode. That is the important point. So this electrolysis, the process of electrolysis of sodium chloride, electrolysis of NaCl solution is otherwise called as, electrolysis of NaCl solution is otherwise called as chlor-alkali process. What we call that process? Special name. Electrolysis process is called as chlor-alkali process. Chlor-alkali process. Next, uses of NaOH. What are the important uses of NaOH here? See here, what are the main byproducts? Sodium hydroxide, chlorine gas, hydrogen gas. So we have to learn the importance of NaOH mainly for making, uses of NaOH for making soaps and detergents, and for making artificial textile fabrics. Rayon, you know what is rayon. So in the manufacture of paper, so other uses in the manufacture of paper. So used for purifying bauxite ore. So what is this bauxite ore? Bauxite, Al2O3. So used for purifying bauxite ore. So from this box, what is the main importance of bauxite ore? Aluminium metal can be extracted from bauxite ore. Aluminium metal can be extracted from bauxite ore. That is important point. Which metal can be easily extracted? So sodium hydroxide is mainly used for purifying bauxite ore. So what is the importance of bauxite ore? Al2O3 formula. So this aluminum metal can be easily extracted from this bauxite ore and used in degreasing metals. So if you want to remove grease on metals, used in degreasing metals, used in oil refining process, and used for making dyes and bleaches. So these are the uses of what? NaOH. Next, uses of chlorine. Uses of chlorine gas. See, chlorine gas mainly is used to sterilize drinking water. Already you know, sterilization of drinking water. It is a disinfectant. It acts as a disinfectant. That means it kills all the germs present in the water. So it is a disinfectant and used in the production of used in the production of bleaching powder. You know already bleaching powder. Used in the production of bleaching powder, formula CaOCl2. So chlorine gas is mainly used in the production of bleaching powder, and you can prepare HCl also, and use it to prepare plastics. You know PVC, polyvinyl chloride, abbreviation for PVC. What is PVC, students? Polyvinyl chloride. So use it for preparing plastics, and even for preparation of pesticides. Chlorofluorocarbons, you know CFC means chlorofluorocarbons. Chloroform, you know this is a anesthesia purpose we use for the preparation of chloroform. Carbon tetrachloride, and even for the preparation of paints and dyestuffs. So you use it for dry cleaning purpose also. So these are all advantages. These are the uses of chlorine gas for preparing plastics, polyvinyl chloride, pesticides, chlorofluorocarbons, chloroform, and carbon tetrachloride, paints, dyestuffs, and use it for dry cleaning purpose. So in the same manner, we are discussing uses of hydrogen here only. So what are the uses of hydrogen? Mainly hydrogenation technique is there. Hydrogenation of vegetable oils. See, generally we take crude vegetable oil, so we pass hydrogen gas in the presence of nickel catalyst. Hydrogen gas is passed through vegetable oil and it turns into solid fat. We call it as vanaspati ghee. So in other words, we call it as dalda. For the preparation of dalda, that is hydrogenation of vegetable oils, means we have to pass hydrogen gas through vegetable oil in the presence of nickel catalyst. So what happens, that vegetable oil turns into a solid fat, that is called as vanaspati ghee, and that we call it as dalda. You already know in household for preparing sweets we use this dalda. So that is nothing but vegetable ghee. And this hydrogen gas is mainly used for the production of HCl, ammonia, and certain fertilizers also can be prepared. And for the preparation of methyl alcohol, CH3OH means methyl alcohol can be prepared by using hydrogen. And liquid hydrogen is used as a fuel for rockets. Used as a fuel for rockets. Used as a fuel for rockets. So this is the importance of hydrogen. So we have discussed importance of NaOH, chlorine, hydrogen gas, and this is about.